Greetings everybody, and welcome to my top 15 personal space traits for Star Trek Online. Now I realise that traits can be a difficult subject to address, as the type of trait used very much depends on your type of particular build that you are trying to achieve. So after giving this some thought, I thought it would be a good idea to look at the traits that I most commonly use, which I have found useful with my builds. As always, this is my own personal preference for my personal builds, but having said that, if you have any other useful traits which you feel need a mention, then by all means drop me a line below and I'll check them out. But before we move on, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button to catch further reviews. That's if you haven't already done so. Oh, and don't forget to give us a like as well, as this always makes my day. Right, without further ado, let's move on to my top 15 personal space traits. And at 15 we have Superior Aerial Denial. This trait gives bonuses in space if slotted in an active starship trait slot. Activating beams fire at will or cannon scatter volley causes your weapons to debuff foes' armour resistance for a short duration, as well as activating fire at will 1 and cannon scatter volley 1 on your hangar pets. This trait can be obtained from the Mirror Strike Wing Escort T6 or an Infinity Prize Pack drop. At 14 we have Improved Photonic Officer. While this trait is slotted, the duration of Photonic Officer is increased. In addition, while Photonic Officer is active, you will gain a significant boost to your exotic damage and outgoing healing. This extends the duration of Photonic Officer by 10 seconds when activating Photonic Officer, and gives you a plus 25 bonus shield healing for 30 seconds, plus 25% bonus exotic damage for 30 seconds, and plus 25% bonus hull healing for 30 seconds. And this trait can be obtained from the Tholian Iktomi T6 ship. And at 13 we have Weapon Emitter Overdrive. This trait increases weapon power drain by 50% and gives plus 10% critical chance to direct at energy weapons and plus 50 accuracy rating. This trait is available from the Vadwa Miracle Worker Juggernaut. And at 12 we have Directed Energy Flux. While slotted, activating any Temporal Operative Bridge Officer ability or the Directed Energy Modulation ability, this will grant you a plus 25% bonus damage of Cannon Rapid Fire, Beams Overload, Energy Weapons, Surgical Strikes and reroute reserves to weapons for 15 seconds. At 11 we have Withering Barrage. While Withering Barrage trait is equipped, the duration of your Cannon Scatter Volley is increased by 4 seconds. And this trait can be obtained from the following starships: the Legendary Defiant Pilot Warship, the Valiant Tactical Escort, the Core Bird of Prey, the Legendary Birel Bird of Prey, the Michala Bird of Prey refit, Legendary Tillis Light Intel Warbird and the Malum Light Warbird. At 10 we have the trait Reciprocity. And when an enemy misses you in combat, you have all your tactical and intelligence bridge officer ability recharge times reduced slightly. This reduction can happen every few seconds and it cannot reduce an ability's recharge time below its group cooldown. And you can obtain this trait by acquiring the Phantom Intel Escort. And at 9 we have Terran Goodbye. And when you defeat a foe, you get plus 25 accuracy rating for 20 seconds and a plus 5 critical chance for 20 seconds. And this trait is available when you obtain the Mirror Constitution Warship. At 8 we have Preferential Targeting. And while this trait is slotted, activating Beams Fire at Will or Cannon Scatter Volley will cause Beam Overload and Cannon Rapid Fire to do 100% additional damage for the next 30 seconds. This trait is obtained from the NX Escort refit or the Legendary Columbia Temporal Operative Escort or Cross-Faction Bundle NX Escort refit equipment. At 7 we have Promise of Ferocity. While activating pilot or tactical bridge officer abilities, this adds plus 4% bonus damage with starship weapons, maximum 5 stacks, 1 stack per 4 seconds for duration of combat. This trait can be obtained by acquiring the Andorian Thosian Pilot Escort or the Diwan Vendros Pilot Escort. There's also another one, but I really couldn't pronounce it, but I'm going to have a try. The Lethean JeSters Pilot Escort. Well done. Round of applause. Moving on. And at 6 we have Vulcan Hello. While this trait is active, your weapons gain a shield and armor penetration bonus. And weapons power drain from energy weapons activation is reduced for a brief duration when you first enter combat. This gives you a plus 20 energy weapon armor penetration for 8 seconds, a plus 10 energy weapon shield penetration for 8 seconds, and a minus 50 weapon power cost for 8 seconds. This trait can be obtained by acquiring the following ships: Walker Light Exploration Cruiser, the legendary Walker Light Battle Cruiser, or the Cross Fraction Bungle Walker Class Light Exploration Cruiser equipment. And at 5 we have the trait Desperate Repairs. Each time your starship is critically hit, you receive a desperation counter. Immediately upon activating a third desperation counter, you will receive a large hull and shield heal and will be able to gain desperation counters for a while. The heal will only trigger if you are below 75% of your maximum hull. This trait can be obtained from the Guardian Cruiser and Mirror Universe Guardian Cruiser, or via Dilithium Store if unlocked on a Federation character. At 4 we have the trait Honoured Dead, and while this trait is active, any damage received during combat will be added to the defensive capabilities of your vessel, resulting in stacking benefits to damage resistance and passive hull regeneration, as certain damage thresholds are met or exceeded. Once you reach maximum stacks of this, additional damage will instead grant a small amount of temporary hit points at each threshold. Stacks diminish outside of combat unless cloaked. After receiving 10,000 cumulative damage, you gain a stack of Honoured Dead. Each stack of Honoured Dead grants plus 10 all weapons resistance rating and plus 1% hull regeneration, with a maximum of 20 stacks, infinite duration. While at 20 stacks of Honoured Dead, additional triggers grant 10,000 temporary hit points for up to 40 seconds. While not in combat, you lose 1 stack of Honoured Dead every 2 seconds unless cloaked. This trait can be obtained by acquiring the Sarcophagus Dreadnought Carrier or the Starship Mastery Unlock Honoured Dead. And at 3 we have the trait Invincible. And when reduced to a very low hull percentage, your ship becomes undefeatable for a short amount of time. During this window, all incoming hull and shield heals receive a large boost, and this may activate once per 2 minutes. This means when your hull is reduced below 5%, you'll receive a plus 50% incoming heal to self for 8 seconds, plus 50% incoming shield healing to self for 8 seconds, and unkillable for 8 seconds. Once activated, this trait cannot trigger for up to 120 seconds. This trait can be obtained by acquiring the Zahal Heavy Cruiser. And at 2 we have the trait Super Weapon Ingenuity, and basically it's a simple trait that when activated extends your beam overload by 5 seconds, from 10 seconds to 15 seconds, and if you want this trait you can acquire it by getting the Zindi Primate Atleth Dreadnought Cruiser. And at 1 we have a trait that is considered by some to be one of the best traits in game, and this is Emergency Weapon Cycle. And while this starship trait is active, using emergency power to weapons will also reduce weapon power cost and increase your weapon fire rate moderately. This gives you a minus 50% weapon power cost for 30 seconds and a plus 20% firing cycle haste for energy weapons for 30 seconds. If you want this trait, then all you have to do is acquire the Arbiter Battle Cruiser, the Kurak Battle Cruiser, or the Morrigue Heavy Warbird. Now, as I mentioned earlier, this is just my own personal preference for my top 15 space traits. However, I do believe there are a few more that I could just squeeze in that deserve a noticeable mention. And here we go. The first being Cold Hearted, and you can acquire this from the Breen Plesh Heavy Raider. The next, Vaulting Ambition, and this can be acquired from the Styx Terran Dreadnought Cruiser. The next one, Executus Acta Probat, and yes, These are not easy to say, but you can acquire this trait from the Section 31 Intel Science Destroyer, or you can pick it up off the exchange for only if you're a KDF aligned player. The next, supercharged weapons, and this can be obtained from the Endeavour Tactical Star Cruiser, the legendary Verity Command Dreadnought Cruiser, the Martok Tactical Battle Cruiser, or the Kopesh Tactical Dreadnought Warbird. And finally, overpowered and overgunned, which can be obtained from the legendary Defiant Pilot Warship. Well, I would have liked to have given you a more comprehensive list of traits, but this can be quite a controversial subject to broach. So I'm open to suggestions, and if you'd like to drop us a line below on your personal space traits that you feel need a mention, please by all means drop us a line. Now don't forget, if you've enjoyed my reviews and you want to catch more, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and yeah, a like would be absolutely brilliant. So now I will leave you to the rest of your day, and I'll see you out there. Until next time, this is JeSters signing off.